Well, everybody, happy New Year, I guess-ish. Happy 2010. We've been away from the Video University for a while. We've been busy with some new products like Medusa and Uno. This Video University segment will cover Medusa, some of the different configurations which we've taken some really nice photographs of, and we'll look at options for mounting, options for configuring. We're going to put it on a jib. We're going to do an overhead cable type shot, and I think you'll have a really good idea of how Medusa works by the time we're done here. So first of all, the cage itself, if you look in our catalog, you'll probably see our Proteus cage, which has been very popular with a lot of our shooters, not only in terms of handling, but also in terms of protecting the rigs, because we've had lots of nice emails from people, and thank you for sending them, who've gone down with the rigs, things have fallen over tripods. In this configuration, there's no way, with our Titan box, which uses carbon fiber and aluminum, and our Medusa cage, there's really no way that the camera is ever going to get hit or the lens is going to get touched unless you have a point impact. The cage itself, in its elemental form, involves links and what we call Kip handles. So one of the things a lot of customers don't realize is that these Kip handles can be lifted and then released. So essentially, once you tighten it, if you end up in a position that you don't want to be in, you can actually pull the Kip out, and it's splined on there, so you can actually turn it wherever you like without actually moving the fastener, so it's out of the way. So if it's like, you know, if it's going to poke you in the hand, you can just pull it out again and adjust it. So the links can be loosened with any of the four links can be loosened by just releasing the Kip handle. And once you've done that, the entire rig can basically be reconfigured in a variety of different ways. And there's really no rules about how this is configured. When it's loose with these Kip handles, you can pretty much configure the rig however you like. You can sort of twist it. You can make it more compact by reconfiguring the position. You can also, and we'll show you later, you can turn it inside out. And if you're turning it inside out like I just did, you're potentially going to be using this potentially as a chest brace. So if you've got this on your rig, this ends up against your sternum. We can kind of show you with this rig how that would work. So the whole purpose of the gymnastics here was to show you how this would be configured potentially as a chest brace. And what you find is when you have your shoulder in and this unit's down on your sternum, it takes all the weight off the rig. So essentially you're braced here. Picture a shoulder pad over my shoulder with a DSLR kit, and you've got yourself essentially a Medusa being used as a chest brace. The other kind of cool thing about Medusa, which we're going to show you, is that you actually don't have to keep all these rigs, these clamps assigned, if you like. You can take them off and reconfigure them. What I end up with here is a set of 15mm rods running through and handles. So Medusa can be quickly reconfigured. In this situation, you could take the top clamp off and use these as supports. The ball that we use is a special, it's a kind of a unique design that we've worked on for quite some time. It's non-scratching and it's non-marking, so you can go ahead and put these down on an expensive table, providing they're clean, and you shouldn't have any problems with scratching or marks left there. Not only is the bottom plate got a quick release, so you can loosen this and actually slide this piece off. So at this point, you've taken the rail, you've taken the unit off the rails. We'll go ahead and throw that back on. And the top plate has a multitude of functions, so are just kind of presented in this fashion so you can kind of see it on camera. But there's slots here that would accommodate the clamping system that lets you put transmitters and so on. And we've also got a 3/8 hole here that will accept a 100mm ball, tripod head, whatever you can think of. And we've also got our standard quarter 20 holes that go with our rails block. So if I take one of our rails blocks, you can see it's got quarter 20 holes both front and back. And in this case now we can run our rails over top. Alternatively, if you want to use the shoe mount, you can use that mounted up top. Again, we've got some stainless steel screws there, but that's going to mount up top. Now you can shoe mount accessories on the top of the rig. And for people who are using monitors, you'll see that if you look in our catalog, you'll find a mount that uses this type of link and gives you a quarter 20 thread. So you can actually take one of these pieces on an overhead cage and mount anything that has a quarter 20 thread. So it just ends up being a very, very versatile system for mounting anything that you could conceive of related to the camera. Now that we have the particulars of Medusa and its basic structure out of the way, we can start to show you some of the rigs that we've set up using this. And you'll see in the still photographs, you'll see a cage configuration, which essentially involves taking one of these and putting our standard rails blocks on. The ability to mount our rails blocks means you can run two Medusas together in a cage that can be configured either taller or wider as you feel appropriate. Once you have a cage in place, then you can mount our follow focus on either side of it, upside down or right side up. You'll find in our catalog that Cinovate sells standard 15mm rails blocks, and they mount to the top of this cage, as do the clamps. And we're going to show you a photo of how the clamps basically work, but they slide back and forth and they allow you to put a transmitter up there. If I rotate this around a little bit, you can kind of get a profile from the rig, and we'll get some nice light going there. So you can see we've got Medusa here, we have our follow focus here, which allows you to rack focus on the camera very easily without getting involved with the lens too much. Our new focus gear is mounted up here, and again we have the Titan matte box. The reason this rig is so popular with some of our professional shooters is because it's about the right weight, I can't say right weight, for use on units like the Flyer or the Steadicam Flyer LE, or a stabilizer where typically the 5D or a DSLR camera like it is too light. So this rig ends up being just about the right weight for that rig, and it makes it a nice stable stabilizer. So typically what you're going to see is you're going to see the guys going from an LTS or tracking shot like this on our slider to Steadicam, and in this case we're going to also show you jib and overhead cable shots with the Medusa. So it's a very versatile appliance.